Hello, everyone. Welcome to Introduction to Cruising, y'all. I'm super excited to be giving you this information. Now, this is going to be a brief introduction into cruising. There is so much in cruising that I could talk about, but I could be here all day, all evening, all night, just talking about cruising. And I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to give you just the pertinent information for now because we will be doing another detailed cruising webinar in the upcoming future. But I just want to give you some facts to get you started with either your first cruise, or maybe you have done a cruise before, you want to do another one, but you want to learn a little bit more about the ropes inside of the industry. We got you. We got you. So, before we get into the actual introduction to cruising, okay, I do want to take just a little bit of time to introduce you to me. Okay. Now, for those of you who might be new to me, my name is Miriam Jackson. I'm an independent travel advisor. I am the CEO of Travel with MJ, and I've been in the industry now for 5+ years. Okay. And although this is a cruising webinar, I have been able to assist clients with any type of travel that they have been able to look that they have wanted, whether it was a cruise, whether it was all inclusive, whether it was domestic vacation, whether it was a theme park. We have been able to assist clients in those different facets of travel. So if you're looking to travel for a wedding, graduation, birthday, or just because you want to get out, we are able to assist you with that. Okay. So why choose us? What sets us apart? Well, clients who choose Travel with MJ wish to take that task off of their list. Okay. For those who choose to work with us, know that they will be putting that task onto me and it will be handled correctly. They won't have to worry about if they have a cruise ticket, if they have a dining reservation, if they have this or if they have that. They will have everything that they will need before they leave for their cruise or whatever trip we are planning for them. And they will be confident in the investment that they have just made into their vacation. And I will also add that clients will choose us if they want a transparent approach to travel. Now, I am not one of those people that say, "Yeah, we can do that for you." And I know in my heart of hearts I can't do it. Okay? I am not that person. Okay? I believe in transparency and I believe in making sure that if it is something that we cannot do, or if the parameters that you have given us is something that we cannot work within, we want to make sure that we communicate that so that way we are standing on a confident approach and we are standing on making sure that we are handling this as we should. Okay? There are plenty of people who may have done this. We're not talking about anybody in particular. I'm just talking about me. I cannot sit and say, "Oh, I can," and I know I cannot. So if you're looking for a transparent person to work with, that would be me. Okay. So a little bit about our education. Now, we are certified through Disney College of Knowledge, which is taking care of the entire product. So that'll be Walt Disney World, that'll be Disneyland, that'll be Disney Cruise Line, that'll be Aulani in Hawaii. That takes care of all of that. We are certified in Universal Parks and Resorts, which again takes care of the entire product. Okay. We have Universal Orlando Resort and Universal Hollywood Resort. Okay. We have our certification through the Cruise Line International Association. We are a certified cruise counselor and we are group certified through the Cruise Line International Association. We are also trained up and certified through Carnival, Virgin Voyages. We are bachelors and masters of adventures through Royal Caribbean University. We are United Parks and Resorts, which is SeaWorld, Legoland, Sesame Place, what have you. We are certified. Okay. We are certified through Apple Leisure Group. I am an ALGV Pro. Yes. We are also Dreammaker and Vacation Builders through our host agency, IntelliTravel.com. And I am group certified through my host agency. And that's just to name a few of the certifications that I hold. Okay. But I don't want to bore you with all the education. I want to get into the cruising facts. Okay. So, again, welcome to introduction to cruising. Now, before we get into these cruise facts, I do have just one question for you. Okay. My question for you: do you think you need a passport to go on a cruise? Do you think you need a passport to go on a cruise? Let me know what you think. Let me know, what do you think? Okay. Take a little bit of time.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was having issues with the mic. But
Oh no.
I'm going to go with my original guess, just for people out there that might have had a similar thought process as me, which is that you would need a passport because when you're cruising, you might not just be in the US territory. So if you're going in other places, let's say anything were to happen, the ship were to have to go a different route, I would assume you would need your passport in order to do that.
Mm. That's a good thought. That is a great thought. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback.
No problem. No problem.
I appreciate that. But to answer the question thoroughly here, okay? To answer the question, do I need a passport? Okay. Now, in the industry, I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Passports are not required on closed loop cruises, but they are required on a repositioning cruise. Now, what is a closed loop cruise? You're probably thinking. A closed loop cruise is that cruise that leaves and returns to the same United States cruise port. So I'm going to use Galveston here, for example, because I know that Galveston is a very popular cruise port right now. If the cruise is leaving and returning back to Galveston, Texas, you are not required to have your passport. Okay. However, if that cruise is repositioning, meaning it's not coming back to the same US cruise port, you will absolutely need to have your passport, because how would you get home? Okay. So if that cruise, is going from Galveston to Mykonos, we're going to say Greece here. The cruise might be repositioning all the way out. Okay. You will need your passport, because how would you get home? Okay. Now, while you do not need a passport, what happens if something goes wrong? You're on an excursion and you fall, you break something. How are you going to get home if you are not in the United States? And you don't have your passport because you're on a closed loop cruise. How would you get home? We don't want to know the answer to that question, because we want you to not only be safe on your cruise, but we want you, and I'm biased here, I'm going to be completely honest, I would want anybody who is traveling through me to have their passport in case something like that happens. Okay. Now, while I can't force you to get your passport, and I do understand that it costs almost $200, it would be a whole lot better for you to have that than to be worried about how you're going to get out of, as somebody told me earlier, Gullah Gullah Island. But that's just me. Okay. That's just me. All right. So here are some cruise inclusions. This is what's included in your cruise fare for those of you who may not know. Okay. Stateroom, your bed, where you lay your head down for the next 3, 4, 5 nights. That's included in your cruise fare. Interior rooms are going to be the cheapest, and suites are going to be the highest. Now, to give you a visual of what these rooms would look like, think of an interior room as your bedroom closet. Okay. No windows. Very, very enclosed. Once that door closes, it's a wrap. Okay. Interior rooms. Ocean view will be your standard bedroom. Okay. You have your room with a window in it. Of course, your balcony, you're going to have that outside balcony. And then your suites is going to be like a family room. That's going to be more for the families who want to stay together versus separating into multiple staterooms. Okay. So your stateroom is included in your cruise fare. Your main dining room area, that's where you're able to sit down and have and I won't say a formal dinner, but this is where you'll be able to sit down and have a served dinner. Okay. You will have actual dinner service. Okay. In that main dining room, excuse me, in that main dining room, you would have your appetizer, your main course, and your dessert. So you will have a 3-course meal if you sit down in the main dining area. I do like the main dining area. The main dining area is nice. However, most parents, especially who are dealing with children, may opt for the buffet. Buffet is in and out. I get what I want. We're good. Okay. Taxes and port fees are included in the cruise fare. Water and teas, and maybe lemonade, depending on the cruise line, is included in the cruise fare. And some entertainment. Now, there are some that you will have to pay for outside of the cruise fare, but what would be included in your entertainment in your cruise fare? More like your comedy shows. I have seen a cruise line rendition of Family Feud. I have seen a cruise line rendition of MasterChef. Those type of events would be included. Any plays, most plays are included in your cruise fare. Okay. Now there are some that are not included in the cruise fare, but we're not worried about that right now. We're worried about what's included with the cruise. Okay. Now, here's a cruise line fact. The longer you plan, the better you plan. Okay? The longer you plan, the better you plan. Most cruise lines want their money anywhere from 60 to 90 days before you set sail. Okay? Now, there are some exceptions to that. What is one exception to that rule? Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages want their money 120 days in advance. Okay? So, although the standard is 60 to 90, you have to be careful because certain cruise lines have different rules. Okay? Now, my planning timeline, this is just according to what I have learned and what I have done myself. Okay? If you are planning just for an individual stateroom, meaning you're going on a, I don't know, you're going on a vacation. It's you and your bae. You're going on a trip, you're taking a cruise. I would recommend that you start planning that cruise anywhere from 6 to 12 months out. Okay. If you're doing group travel, I'd recommend you start planning anywhere from 12 to 24 months out. Okay. We're not going to go too deep into the groups portion of this because, again, that could be a separate topic for another time. But I do want you to keep in mind that 6 to 12 months for your individual staterooms. Okay. Remember your timeline on your final payments being due. Okay. Anything within 90 days of travel is going to be full payment due at booking. We're in February. Anything that is being booked between now and I would even say somewhere mid-June-ish is going to be full payment due at booking. Or so close to full payment due at booking that you might as well just pay for it in full. Okay. Now, here's another fact. Everything does not have to be settled when you start booking. Okay. What do I mean by that? You do not have to know if you want to add the drink package. You do not have to know if you want to add the specialty dining. You do not have to know if you want to add excursions. All that extra stuff can be added on to the cruise at a later time. That's the beautiful thing about cruising is if you want to add it, you would have time. Now, while the room needs to be paid off 60 to 90 days before you travel, or anywhere from 60 to 120 days, depending on the cruise line, your add-ons can be added all the way up until the week of your cruise or the week before your cruise. Okay, so take this for example. I have my own cruise that's coming up in June. Okay, we have been planning this cruise for a year. We have a cruise that is set for June 15th, but we have been planning since May of 2025. Okay, and our final payment for that cruise is due in April. So I want you to keep that in mind. We've been planning since May 2025. Cruise is due in full by April 2026. We set sail June 26th. Okay. Keep that in mind. That's kind of what's going to happen here. And we're sailing Royal Caribbean. Okay. Just FYI, just throwing that out there. Okay. Now, What are your cruise add-ons, you might be thinking? Your gratuity. In most cases, it is separate. Now, as your travel advisor, I can add it on to your cruise fare. Okay. Or you can get it added on as you walk onto the cruise ship. Now, we're going to talk about why you wouldn't want to do that down in the next couple of slides here, but I want to continue to talk about the add-ons. So your drinks, that's your alcohol and your non-alcohol. Now, I did say that water, teas, and maybe some lemonade is included, but what if you want a Coca-Cola? Okay, not everybody drinks alcohol, but what if you want a Coca-Cola? Okay, Coca-Cola would be a drink package. Or if you're a Pepsi person like me, I'm a Pepsi girl. That is separate. Okay. Your specialty dining, that's separate. Your pictures, you know those pictures that they have you standing like this and you're leaning on the buoy, or you're leaning with the buoy behind you and you're smiling and you're doing all that fun stuff. All that is separate. Okay. All that is separate. Okay. Your spa, your excursions, separate. It is absolutely separate from your stateroom. Okay. So all these can be added, but I highly recommend that you do it early. Okay. We're going to get into that in a minute here. Now, cruising is not universal. They are different. Each cruise brings a different type of vibes. Okay. Not all cruise lines are the same. Everybody has different taste in cruise lines. What works for one person may not work for you. And I'm sorry to say this, but Carnival is not for everybody. Okay. Carnival is not for everybody. Now, you might see a lot of social media content surrounded by Carnival and the fights that they have. But that's not the only reason why I say Carnival is not for everybody. Okay. Some people may not want to deal with certain things that comes with Carnival. That's okay. Choose a cruise line that works for you. Okay. Now, back to what I said, you might want to add whatever you're going to add in your add-ons before you get on board. That's the next fact here. Whatever you're going to add, please be sure that you add it before you get on board. Okay. If you want your drink package, if you want your specialty dining, if you want excursions, we're going to talk a little bit more about excursions here in a few. But if you want those things, you want to add it before you get on the ship. Okay. There are rewards for having that stuff settled before you set sail. That reward comes in the form of a discount. Most times, if you do not add it before you get on the ship, you're going to be paying anywhere from 10 to 20% more on board. Okay. If you have that stuff on your account before you get on the ship, you will be A-okay. Now, another fun fact, and this ties into this fact here. When you call into the cruise lines, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to look at your cruise. They're going to look at what you don't have, and they're going to ask you, do you want to add X, Y, and Z? I've called in as a travel agent on my own cruise, and they have tried to talk me into, and the only thing I didn't have on my first cruise was the insurance. They tried to talk me into getting the insurance. I did not want the insurance at that time. Okay. Do not recommend. But when I first started, did not know everything that I know now. Okay. Case in point. When I did my first cruise, I did not add everything before I got on board. So this is why I can tell you that you need to do this beforehand. My first cruise was my 30th birthday cruise. Okay. Now, I added the drink package. I did not add the specialty dining, and I did have my excursions. So I had my drink package and I had my excursions. I did not have the specialty dining. Okay. At the time, I did not know that I wanted to add the specialty dining. But when I got on board, I wanted something different. I got tired of eating the main dining room and I got tired of eating the buffet. Well, I didn't really know about the main dining room because when I took my first cruise, I didn't know a lot. Okay? So I added the specialty dining, and plus it was my 30th birthday. I wanted something different, but I paid for that specialty dining experience on board. And I know I could have gotten it cheaper if I had added it before I got on the ship. But that was me being ignorant. So I don't want you to be ignorant. I really want you to take this information and I want you to learn from it. I want you to learn from the mistakes that I made so that you don't do it yourself. Now, when you add the stuff, when you get on board and you don't have that stuff, you are at the mercy of the cruise line for two reasons. Number one, you're going to pay more. And number two, you would have to be very, very prayerful that somebody cancels and there's room for you in said specialty dining restaurant. Having it on before you get on there just means you're going to the specialty dining place and you're going to make your reservation. Okay? Not adding it and having it done on board means that you got to make sure that somebody cancels and then they'll go in and say, oh, well, we have a spot for you, but you have to wait until the day before you want to go. So case in point, I wanted to go for my birthday. My birthday is December 26th. I had to walk in Christmas Day and ask if they had any room for my birthday. Okay. You wouldn't have to do that if you had the stuff on there beforehand. Okay. So learn from your travel agent. I did it. But also, when I did my second cruise, the one I took my best friend on, I owed nothing because I did everything beforehand. Now, Bestie owed some money, but it was only because she did some shopping in the private island and they did not accept cash. You only had to use your cruise card. But everything else that we wanted, we had. So I learned my lesson. All right, so here's the different cruise line experiences or cruise line vibes. Okay, Carnival is going to be your most affordable. That's the one that you will always see because they are always running some sort of commercial on television. Royal Caribbean is going to be a little bit more adventure and kid-centered. Okay, MSC is newer to the U.S. markets, but for me as a travel advisor, it gives me a more all-inclusive feel. When I say that, that means that I'm able to, on the back end, book everything that you would need. If you decided when you were booking your trip that you want the specialty dining, you want the drink package, you want to make sure that you have the gratuity, I'm able to take care of all of that with the travel agent portal of MSC. Okay. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, typically they make you do that separately as the customer than from your agent. So if you've ever encountered a travel agent that says, oh, well, you have to do your own booking, your own drink package, your own dining, it's not because they want to be lazy. It's because that's how it's set up. Okay. Now, Virgin Voyages, adults only. That's what they do. Okay. Nobody under the age of 17 is getting on a Virgin Voyages ship. Okay. Norwegian is going to be a mixture. And then Disney's going to be more character-centered. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about the cruise lines that you want to experience. Now, I've been on an MSC cruise. I am doing a Royal Caribbean cruise. I really want to do a Virgin Voyages cruise. I really want to be around some adults, but, in due time. In due time. All right. Ship time and local time is not always the same. Okay. Ship time and local time. Now, ship-sponsored tours and excursions uses the ship time. If you are booking independent of the cruise line, you fall into the independent tours and independent excursions, and they are operated on local time. Okay. Case in point, I am in Eastern Standard Time, but if my cruise is going to Mexico, and there are some countries in Mexico that operate on Central Standard Time, okay, Central Standard Time is an hour behind. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, that you are back on that ship before they do the all call in ship time. Okay. Let's flip that and reverse it. If your cruise ship time is Central Standard Time, but you're moving into an Eastern time zone country, well, if you're not careful, you're going to miss your cruise. Okay? So make sure that you are mindful of the different time zones that you are traveling through, and make sure that you are where you need to be well before that ship leaves. Because again, going back to, if you need a passport, you will if you get left at the pier. You will get left. They will not wait for you if you did an independent tour. They will wait on you if you did a ship sponsored tour, meaning you paid for it through the cruise line. Okay. Now, here's another fact. Deposits are not universal. Okay. Deposit amount will vary depending on the following: the cruise line, if there are any promotions going on, and wave season. Okay. Some cruise deposits are a set dollar amount, while others are a percentage amount. And that percentage amount varies depending on the amount of the cruise. Okay. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, set in dollar amounts. Virgin Voyages and Disney, percentages. Okay. So if you are taking a $5,000 cruise and you are doing a Disney cruise, you're going to have to come up with a certain percentage of that. We're going to talk about the actual deposit amounts in the next slide here. But I want you to keep that in mind, because when you start looking at different cruises, please don't go tell nobody, oh, well, this cruise line said it was going to be this amount per person. Well, it's different. Okay. All right. So those cruise line deposits: Carnival, $100 per person up to a 7-night cruise. All of these are up to a 7-night cruise because the amounts will change. Okay. Now, Carnival is known for having sales where the deposits are lowered. I have seen where deposits can be $100 per stateroom, which means it is $50 per person. So it depends on what's going on with Carnival, what that deposit will be, but the standard is $100 per person. Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, also $100 per person. Now, theirs is pretty standard, pretty locked in. It's not going to fluctuate and vary very much. Carnivals will vary more than Royals and Norwegian. MSC, $199 a person. That is the deposit amount. Virgin Voyages, remember I said percentages. Virgin wants 20% of the cruise fare. Okay. Disney wants 10% of the cruise fare. So be careful when you are looking at those type of cruises, what your deposit amount is going to be. Okay. All right. So as I stated earlier, I am certified in cruise line and land travel groups. So girls trips, guys trips, family trips, graduation trips. This is the season for graduation trips. Okay. We are able to assist you with those trips. Now, we do want to open up the floor. If we have any questions, any comments, anything that you have learned differently that might have given you a different look into this, let us know. Let us know.
No questions, but I definitely did learn a little bit more about some of the passport regulations when it comes to cruising. So if there's anything that's a reminder of, just the importance of knowing that, even though you might assume that this might be the rule, always double checking, because it will be a terrible situation to be somewhere and think that you have the regulations down and you don't.
Yeah.
So I did learn that. That was a cool fact.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the feedback. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. But yes, as stated, definitely make sure that you are on the up and up with everything that happens in travel. Everything in travel changes very, very frequently. So you want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on. Okay. Now, thank you so much for your time into Introduction to Cruises. I'm very grateful to have been able to present this information to you. Let's explore and connect with the world together. Okay. You can contact us via phone at 229-627-4753. We are on the internet, www.travelwithmj.net. You can send us an email, info@travelwithmj.net, and we are on Facebook at Travel with MJ. Okay. Now, if you enjoyed this event, you must come back for next month. Come back for next month's event. Next month's event is going to be travel agent myths. I'm excited to debunk some of the myths that a lot of people may have when it comes to travel agents. Now, I will say this. If you know me, you know I'm going to tell the truth. And there might be some things out there that the people have heard that are very true. And I am not going to hide or shy away from those facts. If you want a very honest view of the myths that you may have heard, you definitely want to come out to Travel Agent Myths. You can find that information on our website. You can go over to www.travelwithmj.net/events to register. It will be on March 22nd at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go and register. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out to Intro to Cruising. I am super excited that I was able to put this on, and we will have a more in-depth conversation about cruising down the line. So definitely make sure that you are following us, you are subscribed to us. If you are not subscribed to our email list, please make sure that you do that as well. And I will see you all in my very next video. Bye, y'all.